Hey everyone, here we go again. Another day on the 59. Going to work on mounting this modern headlight switch in the not so modern dash. So I'll just show you what my plan is here, how we intend on going about this. Hopefully it's going to work out for me. So I got all the old stuff out of the dash. And I'm planning on putting that switch in right here. It's going to cover these, probably the bottom hole. The top one I'll have to try and figure out something else to finish covering it up there. But I'll just show you how I'm going to go about it here. Go around to the workbench. Finally got some spring weather coming again. So this is the switch. It's got no physical mounting brackets or anything on it. It slides into the dash from the front, I believe, pops in, and then you just put the cover over and it trims it out. So what I did was I took the outside measurement of it, and the inside measurement, I want my piece to overlap it by about 3/16 of an inch all the way around the outside. And back to the old cardboard cat again. I figured out how I was going to mark it out here, and then I came in a 1/4 of an inch each direction, and I put a hole with my punch, transferred that to a piece of 18 gauge, and then because of the measurement here, I knew I had to go with a 1/2 inch hole to get the radius in the corner that I want. So once I had the centers marked, I drilled the 4 holes. I'm going to scribe a line now, and I'm going to cut the center piece out of this, and then we'll see how it works on the switch here. My plan for the back side of this is I'm going to take a piece of 18 gauge about 1/2 an inch tall, and I'm going to make a square that fits the outside of this perfectly, and I'm going to tack weld that on here with the TIG. Doesn't have to be super strong. And then I'm going to put 2 attachment tabs that I can screw a little bracket from the back side of this in 2 spots to hold it into the dash. So wish me luck. We'll carry on here. Okay, we're back again. I have the mount all fabricated here now. As I said, it overlaps the switch by about 3/16 of an inch all the way around. I decided I didn't need the piece on the sides, only on the top and the bottom. So I've got a piece 1/2 inch wide that's tacked to the proper width. And then I put these upright supports on both sides. This one I bent to 90 on, put a rivet nut in, and then I have this tab that goes in, and it's going to sandwich the switch into the dash. A little bit of gap here, and the reason for that is I'm going to put a piece of foam tape in between. That'll sandwich it and hold it tight. I'll just pop this out of here. Really like these 1024 stainless steel screws. So what I did on the back side of this is I just used a piece of 1/4 inch rod, and then the switch comes right out. So next thing I'm going to do is get this piece mounted into the dash. This corner is going to be a bit tricky. This is all flat, but this corner comes out to meet the windshield and the top of the dash. Okay, we're back working on this light switch mount. I've just got it set in there right now. I got the mount itself tack welded in. I got a nice flush fit all the way around. This is ready to weld. So here's the issue I have. you can see the way the dash comes out to meet the door or the A-pillar here, leaves us this big V-shaped gap. So I'm going to make filler pieces that come in here and tie this together, and then I'm probably going to try and TIG weld it to the faceplate, and I can MIG weld it up here because it's easier to grind. So that'll be my next step, get this all finished welded and ground up. Okay, so there's the first little filler piece I made. It's curved this way, and then it's got the angles ground onto it. I've just got it tack welded in. I'm going to make this next piece here now, get that tack welded in, and then I can finish welding all of this. I'm probably going to do this seam here and the little one that'll be here with the TIG welder. I have more control. If I burn through on this corner, I'm going to have a hell of a time making that look nice afterwards. So, okay, we'll carry on here. Okay, so I got the second little tiny filler put in here. What a pain in the ass. Time to get welding. Okay, got the light switch installed. This is the first time in 4 projects over probably 11 years that I've ever used some Bondo, and I had no way around it. I had to use a little bit right in here to blend that, but it's probably not even, I don't know, the size of a fingernail that I use, so I'm going to call that okay. A little bit of grinding left to do on the edge here, and but I'm going to call that one a win. Okay guys, we keep carrying on here with other stuff. I got my rear brake line installed. I got all of the P-clamps put on. Takes it up to the front here, joined into the front line. And then I figured it was time to get some seam sealing done around all of the weld seams and everything from the rust repair. And I'll tell you, I absolutely hate seam sealing. It's using the tube is just ugly. But I'll tell you, I watched on old Fitzy's Fabrications there, old Tony was talking about this brush-on seam sealer. And I'm not sure if you've got the same kind of product in the States. I'm sure you do. This is a Canadian product made by Dominion Sure Seal, and it's brush-on seam sealer. There's the stock number and the code number on it. And man, is that stuff nice to put on. No tube to squeeze, and just use a paintbrush, and it's really thick. It goes on really nice. So, and I think this can's going to go a long ways compared to a tube. Once you open a tube, you're pretty much screwed. It's all gone. So I got the underside of the cab all seam sealed, and it's ready for some undercoating, which I'll do, and then I can start final installation on the cab, get all the bolts done. So the other thing that just came in, just had the delivery, is my vintage air unit and controls. So we'll get started on getting this fit, see how it's going to fit in the opening there under the dash. So okay everyone, back again, another new day. So I really got this thing tore apart again. I hadn't planned on pulling the engine and trans out, but it happened anyhow. And just because I want to get a little bit better quality work done on the firewall, and I found with my vintage air AC, I have to just flatten this hump out here a little bit on the passenger side, just so I can move it over 2 or 3 inches. That hump goes in way too far because of the 6-cylinder Chevy that was in it. So I'm working on that. And then the other thing I decided to do while I've got the clip off is do the front brake lines. So I'm working on that as well. There was stainless steel lines somebody had replaced on this chassis prior to me getting it. So I'm trying to reuse as many of them as I can, just because they're almost brand new. So what I use when I do my flaring, I purchased one of these cheap Vivor hydraulic flaring tools. It's worth every penny. I think I paid $179 for it. I've only had one bad flare since I started using it, and I've done 3 vehicles with it, so I'm pretty happy about that. The one thing I will recommend is when you cut a line with your tubing cutter, I use a countersink bit just to clean it kind of rolls a really sharp edge in on the inside of your tubing, and sometimes that'll screw up a flare. So I just use a countersink, clean that out just a touch, and then blow the line out, make sure you don't have any metal filings in there. So this, the driver's side line was pretty easy. I just hacked it off from the back, because remember, these used to go all the way back to the ABS pump. So now they're going to end here. I purchased a T to put them in. So what I'm going to do is tee these two together, and then from there I'm going to go up into the block there. So I'm just getting this one. I have it all fit. It fits really good now. I'm just anchoring it with tech screws and P-clamps. And a little tip here, when you're using tech screws, I put a little dab of grease on the end of the screw prior to trying to put it in. And since I started doing that, I have far less tech screws breaking. I'll just put this one in. You watch, this one will probably break just because I'm doing it on video. Oop, put it on backwards. Naturally, it's got to be up, otherwise I can't get in there with the drill. These are really nice P-clamps. I got them off Amazon, and they're, I know they're made in China, but they're stainless steel. Whoa, that hurt. Well, that was a bad screw. We'll try another one. I knew that was going to happen. Some of these tech screws are used. I used them when I was fastening panels on the 37, so could be that's why that one didn't go in. We'll try another one. There we go. Much better. So I'm going to carry on. I'm going to flare the other side, join the T together up there, and then I can run my other line up to the proportioning valve here. So I'll carry on with this, and then we'll get started on the underside of the floor here. Okay, we're all set up here, just getting ready to put the flare on this. Gave that a little spin there with the countersink, and we'll get this into the V-bore tool here, if we can, if I can keep you in the frame. I found that the distance in and out here is really critical. You have to be right at the end of your dies. Just get this tightened up. We'll see how it lines up. A little bit too far. Lined up and square. There we go. Lined up in there. I got my fitting on. I have a tendency to forget those once in a while too. Uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. Okay. So we will do the first step here. Okay. We'll give this a The one thing I have found with this tool is make sure you keep the die lined up with the end of the ram. It tends to flip around and it'll go off center. Oop. Bring that back. And we'll change to the 45 degree. This is the one that's really critical on keeping it centered. Okay. That in there, it's nice and straight. And I just go till there's a little bit of pressure on it. Don't ram it. We'll see how we turned out here. Not a very good flare. Looks like it pushed the tubing back. Okay, so that's my second screwed up flare. So we'll do this again, see what happens. Okay, we're all set up again. I got it cut and deburred, and I'm just gonna make sure that this, oh, it's pushing the tube out on me again. We'll see what happened here. Oop. Okay guys, I'm wondering here if maybe one of these lines is metric instead of quarter inch. Let me play with this a bit and see what happens. Well guys, I've run into that before. Even with the going to the 6mm dies, it still would not flare. It could be because it's a really hard stainless steel tubing and it's just not working. So I will make a whole new line using my nickel copper stuff here. Okay, so we're back again. My nickel copper bent, no problem whatsoever. I got a really nice flare on it. Now I've just got to bend the line the same as the one that I just couldn't put the flare on. So we'll get that done, then we'll come back and flare the other end. Okay, I got the front section of this line bent up now. I'm just working on the 180 degree bend at the other end. So what I did was I marked the distance on the tube, and then I marked a straight line down the center of the radius. Get you in frame here. There's a line there in the center of the radius. That's where I'm going to put my bend. Let me get this set up in here. So what I've got is that vertical line that follows the length of the tube square to where I want my bend. And then we'll just put the bend in it. If I can get out of my, tied up in my hoodie here. Can't keep you in frame without knocking you over. So just going to go full 180 degrees. These cheap little benders work really good on lighter tubing and smaller stuff, not so good on the large stuff. So, okay, now I got to figure out my cut and we'll put the flare on. Okay everyone, so we got the first step done. We got the ball on the end of it there. We're just going to do the actual flare. This one was a bit tight because of the type of bend that's in it. And we'll release her. See what we got. Okay, got a really nice flare again. So we're all good. get this line put on, and then there's just the one up to the master left. Okay, we got the lines all done. Anchors in. I'm going to have to build one more support at the back of the, where the rear line comes up. I'll have to put another anchor in down there. I just have to watch because that little bracket that comes down on the firewall right there, it holds the inner fender in place. So we should be good. I think I'll probably build something off of the frame here that comes up and grabs both of the lines just to stop them from vibrating there. So everything's good here. I got to go through and tighten all of the fittings, and I should be able to bleed the brakes. We'll see if we can end 49 years of marriage bleeding brakes again. Probably not. She's learned to put up with me after all of those years. So anyhow, we're going to call her good for this video, guys. Didn't get a whole lot, well, I guess I got a whole lot tore apart, but I haven't got a whole lot of new progress on it. But it's coming along, and hopefully the weather's improving. I'm going to be able to get the box undercoated and that fuel door welded in, so we can go through that on a video as well. And we'll just keep going here, get this firewall and everything taken care of, and start putting her together for the last time. So thanks once again for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll catch you on the next one.